Let's read. Please excuse my poor, lowly sink, but this is my desk. Basically, for now, right now, it's cold outside. Okay, shit. I can't show you exactly. You're gonna float around, okay? Okay. Okay. The story of Joseph XXV. Would that be 25? Yes, it would be. Joseph had 11 brethren and a father, making 12 in all. He is dead now. Joseph was the youngest but one, and the best beloved. So well beloved was he that his father gave him a coat of many colors. Setting you down. We're gonna get used to this, okay? Okay. A coat of many colors. In those days, Joseph was only a thoughtless lad of 17, and that coat corralled his sympathies. He used to swell around and put on many frills among his brethren, inasmuch as they reasoned among themselves and said, As Jacob our father liveth, there is too much style about this upstart. For behold, even before these days they were down upon him. Not satisfied with having a coat of many colors, Joseph proceeded to further atrocities and began to dream dreams, as he had a fashion of interpreting them in a way that was very comforting to himself, in a way that seemed to foreshadow that he would be one day exalted high above his father Jacob. And his other brethren. These things made the wrath of the 11 to increase manyfold, and in a greater degree than ever were they down upon him. In the fullness of time, Jacob sent his sons away up in the north country to pasture their flocks, and by the males got irregular, and he wondered if anything was the matter because of his not hearing from them. So he sent Joseph to look into the matter, and just like a boy, he started off through the vilest, rockiest, dustiest country in Asia, tricked out in his trotting harness, gotten up regardless of expense, arrayed in the pride of his heart, his beautiful claw hammer coat of many colors. When the other boys saw him coming, they said, Lo, here is the dreamer. Let us kill him. But Reuben pleaded with tender eloquence for his innocent brother and said, Oh, pity him. Wherefore they pitied him, and the self-same pit that they pitied him in here is in this place even to this day. And here it will remain until the next detachment of images breakers and tomb desecrators of bribes from the Quaker City excursion, and they will infallibly dig it up and carry it away with them. For behold in them no reverence for the solemn monuments of the past. And who or wheresoever they go and destroy and spare not, then the brethren sold Joseph to some Ishmaelites at the ruling rate 10% off for cash, and dabbled his coat in the blood of a kid and sent it to their father, who rent his garments and believed that this boy, the jewel of his heart and the joy of his old age, was gone from him to return no more forever. And the Ishmaelites took Joseph into Egypt and sold him to Potiphar, an officer of the king's household, and lost money on him, which served them right. Joseph became foreman of the Potiphar's affairs and prospered greatly. He had the run of the whole establishment and was trusted to the utmost. He got into trouble with Potiphar's wife at last, and both gave their versions of the affair, but the lady's was plausible, and Joseph's was most outrageously shaky. So they threw him into prison, and he stayed there 2 years. He got to eating too much, and consequently he got to dreaming. The same was the case with the other prisoners. They all wanted their dreams interpreted. This was Joseph's strong suit. The interpretations proved correct. It came to Pharaoh's ears after a while, and most likely just at the time when he had a couple of curious dreams himself and had run so short of dreaming material that he dreamt them over and over again, and which astonished him. Joseph enlightened him. He said, "Sire, your dreams signify that there are going to be 7 years of extraordinary plenty in Egypt, and they will be followed by a howling famine that will distress the whole world for a full 7 years." Then he closed one eye and looked exceedingly shrewd out of the other, after the manner of a man who knoweth that which he is about, and said, "Behold, thou and thy servant can gather together diverse and sundry shekels out of this thing. Let us bear the market and buy against the season of famine." And Pharaoh said, "I perceive that thou art none of them that know not to come in when it doth rain. Behold, it shall be even as thou sayest." Wherefore he made Joseph ruler over all land of Egypt, and gave unto him chariots and horses and servants to wait upon him, and clothed him in sumptuous garments, whereunto the coat of many colors was not so much as a circumstance. Then Joseph show what manner of man he was. He bared the market. He bought all the corn that was to be raised in Egypt for 7 years to come, and stored it away. And when the first year of the famine was approaching, he bought again a 6-month buyer's option, and surprised the boys very greatly. For when he called his stocks they could not deliver. In that day many a man sold short, and Joseph had them on the hip, and their names were posted, and they forfeited their seats in the board. And during all those years of famine, ships came from far countries that were in distress. And lo, the corn that Joseph bought at 40 cents, he sold it unto them at $7.50. Before a time and a half or 2 times had passed over their heads, Joseph and Pharaoh owned about 2/3 of Egypt, and it is estimated that if Pharaoh could have dreamed one more dream and got Joseph to interpret it, they would have shortly owned the balance of it. By and by, Joseph sent 2 of his sons down to Egypt to buy corn. Joseph knew them, but never let on. He called them spies and blackguarded them until he had about got even with them for selling him out. And then he sold them out, hid their money in the sacks, and sent them home. But he held on to Simeon and bought him. He appeared to have a special grudge against Simeon and crowded him all he could until they bought down Benjamin, the one they had left at home. So he made it lively for Simeon. I have to take a break.